Hidden beneath the rolling plains of Lancashire lies the secret of a lake that once shimmered under medieval skies. This is the story of Martin Mere, a place where legends of knights and enchantresses and child-stealing mermaids blur the line between myth and reality. But what really happened to this lost lake, and what mysteries still linger beneath its surface? Beneath these fields lies the ghost of an ancient lake, a lake that once mirrored the moon's glow and whispered its secrets into the night. This is Martin Mere, a lost world of enchantment where the tales of a noble knight and a child-stealing mermaid became woven into the fabric of Lancashire's folklore. But what secrets does this forgotten lake still guard? And why do its stories linger so long after the waters have gone? Long before Martin Mere was drained and faded from memory, its dark, glistening waters teemed with stories. Whispers spoke not just of an ordinary lake, but a realm steeped in the lore of King Arthur himself. They say that a young Lancelot, taken away from France to the safety of Lancashire by his mother, found sanctuary on the shores of Martin Mere, but fate had its own plans. Legend tells of a mysterious nymph named Vivian who emerged from the cold, silken waters to claim him, drawing the boy into its murky depths. Raised beneath the lake's surface, Lancelot would one day return to the world, entering King Arthur's court and earning his name as the legendary knight, Sir Lancelot of the Lake. But Martin Mere's secrets didn't end with Lancelot. Some say it was here that the Lady of the Lake wielded her magic, a force as powerful as Merlin's own. It was she who bestowed the mighty Excalibur upon Arthur, and at the end of his reign, the king had the mighty sword returned to the waters of the Mere as his final wish. Yet, behind these tales of courage and enchanted gifts, Martin Mere hid a shadowed side. A place where legends strayed from glory and ventured into something far more ominous. Among these stories was a chilling legend, captured in Roby's Traditions of Lancashire. It tells of a mermaid, not the kind from a whimsical fairy tale, but a creature, both alluring and perilous, who reached out from beneath the silver waves to snatch the unwary. It was said that she appeared to children playing too close to the water, drawing them under with promises that no child could resist. Yet the question remains, was she a mere spectre of a woman from the fears of those who lived close to the water's edge, or did she truly haunt the depths of Martin Mere? Martin Mere was not just a small body of water. It was once the largest lake in England, stretching across thousands of acres of what's now just the flatlands of West Lancashire. The lake's origins reach back to ancient times when glacial meltwaters carved out its basin and created a sprawling wetland that teemed with life. But over centuries, the Mere became more than just a lake. It was a vital part of local law and livelihood in the area. But by the time the 17th century came along, the shimmering expanse of Martin Mere began to change. In 1692, under orders from Thomas Fleetwood, who was a local landowner, he came up with an ambitious plan to drain the lake, to clear space for more agricultural land. And with the disappearance of the lake, the stories that had once rippled across its surface sank into the realm of myth. The haunting legend of the mermaid, preserved in tales like those in Roby's books, survived only in whispers. What mysteries did Martin Mere take with it into the earth? And did the spirit of the lake leave with the water, or does it still linger in the shadows of history? Let's explore the tale that has kept Martin Mere's memory alive for generations. In 17th century Lancashire, Captain Harrington and Sir Ralph Molyneux, two loyal cavaliers to King Charles, rowed around the lake. The evening sun was casting a golden glow over the water, and as they rowed, Harrington's eyes caught something. A shadow drifting across the lake's surface, and it moved with an eerie stillness. and without hesitation the two men urged their horses towards the water's edge to investigate. When they reached the shore, they could see it clearly. It was a female form, floating effortlessly, half raised from the water, her long hair swirled around her like a dark halo. Sir Molyneux's voice trembled. "Look, she has a fish tail." Harrington, with his eyes wide, called out, "Sea wench!" The figure turned her gaze towards them, her eyes glistening with an unreadable expression, and then, with a graceful flick of her tail, she disappeared beneath the surface, leaving only a small ripple where she'd been. The pair stared in disbelief. Was it a trick of the light, a figment of their imagination? But by now the sun had slipped below the horizon, and darkness began to close in. Feeling a sense of unease, they decided to turn back. The return journey was fraught with trouble. The ground underneath their feet was slick and treacherous. Their horses stumbled and their hooves were just sinking into the bog, as if the earth itself conspired to keep them there. It felt as though the lake was always at their back, no matter how far they pushed forward, and confused and uneasy, the men halted. The sky was now a blanket of thick blackness. But suddenly a light flickered in the distance, and it moved slowly towards them. Relief washed over them as a fisherman appeared, holding a lantern. He guided them away from the lake and brought them to his modest hut on the lake's edge. Inside the small hut, the fisherman's wife sat, with a baby on her lap. It was a calm scene amidst the strange events of the evening. Harrington and Molyneux recounted their encounter by the lake. To their surprise, the couple did not look shocked or alarmed. "We know of her," the wife said quietly. "We call her the Mere woman." Before they could ask any more, a low, guttural muttering came from outside, chilling the room. The woman's eyes widened with fear. "She is here," she whispered, her voice barely audible. She turned to her husband, urging him to go and face the visitor. He stepped out into the dark and returned moments later. His expression was grave. "The child is in danger," he said, his voice tight. "The Mere hag has come for her." Captain Harrington, being a brave man, stepped forward without hesitation. "I will take the child. I can protect her," he vowed. His tone was resolute. The fisherman looked to the shadowy figure outside, seeking a sign of agreement. The Mere woman's eyes glinted as she nodded, but her condition was clear. A token to guarantee the child's safe return. With a steady hand, Harrington removed his signet ring and placed it on the fisherman's palm, a solemn promise that one day the child would be returned, unharmed. Years passed and Harrington kept his word. The girl named Grace grew in his home and was loved like his own daughter. He married and his wife embraced Grace with open arms, and she blossomed under their care, her beauty unmatched. But one evening Mrs. Harrison came to him. Worry etched into her features. She spoke of a dream, a mermaid stealing Grace away into the dark waters, and tears filled her eyes as she told him the tales she'd heard from local people, whispers of a Mere hag and her vengeance. Grace, overhearing, felt a strange excitement. She longed to see the lake, but she was forbidden from visiting the shores. But Harrison's unease grew. He kept a watchful eye on her, fearing the time the Mere hag would return. One day, as he gazed out across the lake, a cloaked figure appeared, and she held his signet ring high. The time had come. Harrington prepared to visit the lakeside and to try and persuade the hag to let Grace stay. But the child, whose head was full of mermaids and mystery, pleaded to come with him, her eyes bright with hope, and unable to deny her, he agreed. They rowed out to the fisherman's hut, which was now abandoned and crumbling. Harrington's heart sank. He sat in silence, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Grace played outside. Her laughter was ringing through the air. Then Harrington heard the same low muttering sound he'd heard years ago from the shadows. Harrington raced to the door, searching, but the voice faded, and he found only silence. But when he turned back, Grace was gone. Panic clawed at him, and then suddenly rough hands grabbed him, and a cloth was pulled over his eyes. He was dragged into a boat. When the blindfold was removed, a weather-beaten pirate stood before him. eyes cold and hard. "You took my daughter," the pirate growled, with a pistol in his hand. "She died because of you, and for that you will die at midnight." Harrington shouted in desperation as he struggled to prove his innocence. He shouted into the dark night, calling for the mere hag, pleading for her to appear and to reveal the truth. But the pirate, eyes cold and unyielding, kept his pistol trained on Harrington. As the ship's clock began its slow, ominous chime as midnight approached, the final bell tolled, echoing across the silent waters. The pirate's finger tightened on the trigger, and suddenly a voice came, sharp and commanding. "Hold!" A shimmering figure emerged from the shadows, the mere hag, her form glistening in the moonlight. But it was too late. The pistol went off, and the shot struck the hag, not Harrington, and she crumpled onto the deck, the moonlight painting her in silver. Harrington dropped to her side, eyes wide with shock. The mere hag met his gaze, her voice just a fragile whisper. "I wronged you," she confessed. And then turning her dimming eyes to the stunned pirate, she uttered, "Behold your daughter, who was taken, and could not be returned until your sins were redeemed." Grace stood behind them, eyes wide, innocence etched onto her face. The pirate's mouth fell wide open, the weight of realization crashing down on him like a storm. The gun slipped from his hand as the truth burned away the rage in his eyes. The mere hag's spirit began to fade, drifting into the night, her final glance a mixture of sorrow and relief. Years passed, and beside Harrington's grand mansion a modest cottage stood, and inside lived an old man, weathered by time and repentance, and his beautiful daughter Grace. She grew up surrounded by love and laughter, and cherished by two fathers who fought their demons and had found redemption in her smile. Time passed, and the tale of the Mere woman faded into legend, yet Martin Mere, now transformed into a peaceful nature reserve far from its medieval past, remained a place of whispers and stories. But in 2002, the stillness of the lake was shattered by a new mystery. Wildlife wardens began to notice a disturbing pattern. Swans were being attacked. Some were found injured with deep gashes and missing feathers, while others simply vanished, leaving only ripples on the water's surface. Speculation ran wild. Was it an otter, or an unusually aggressive pike, or even an unknown predator lurking beneath the waves? But despite thorough investigations, no definitive culprit was ever identified, and the mystery of the wounded swans lingered. Those who remembered the old tales, this modern-day mystery rekindled whispers of the Mermaid of Martin Mere. Was it possible that she, or another spirit bound to the water, had grown restless? Had the return of the swans, graceful and pure, stirred an ancient being's protective nature, or evoked the longing that legends say she once felt for the child? While no one can say for certain, the strange attacks on the lake's swans added a new layer to the lore surrounding Martin Mere. Just as the mermaid's haunting songs were once carried on the breeze, so too are stories of her presence, timeless, watching, and perhaps still reaching out from beneath the waters. As we draw back the veil over Martin Mere, one thing becomes clear. Its stories, both ancient and recent, weave together to create a tapestry of mystery that continues to captivate. The mermaid who once called out for the return of a lost child, the knight who faced an impossible choice, and the unexplained creature that surfaced centuries later, all remind us that legends are never truly forgotten. They live on, rippling through time and echoing in the whispers of the reeds and the dark reflective surface of the water. Perhaps the Mere's true secret is this. Beneath the quiet modern-day exterior lies an untamed heart, where the boundary between myth and reality remains thin as the mist that drifts across the nature reserve at dawn. So the next time you visit the wetlands of Martin Mere, listen closely. You might just hear a song carried on the wind, a song of loss, love, and the mysteries that never really leave. If you enjoyed exploring the legend of Martin Mere, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of fates, phenomena, and the unexplained. Don't forget to share your thoughts or any local legends that you've heard about in the comments. I'd love to know what mysterious tales linger in your corner of the world. And remember, new stories are coming every week, so make sure you hit that notification bell to never miss an episode. Thank you for watching, and until next time.